All right, good morning. It is Wednesday. I don't know why I keep my mind sometimes just don't allow me to remember what day it is cuz sometimes every day just seems like a Monday. If that's not just me, if it's you too, let me know that I'm not feeling by myself that sometimes every day feels like it is a Monday. It's like the movie 51st Dates to where they keep coming back over and over and over again. So let me see who jumped in the room. They put, good morning. How you doing? I appreciate you for being back. Today we got something very special. Normally, of course, I would have put this event to where it got blasted out to where you know what we're going to be talking about the day prior. But I personally, transparent moment, I didn't take a pause yesterday. And I know if I would have taken a pause yesterday, then I would have set aside time in order for me to prepare myself for today and what we're going to be talking about. But today's podcast came from a morning thought. And I think this thought and what we're going to be talking and communicating about is very interesting. Good morning, Miss Berry. How you doing? So I appreciate everybody that's being here, and of course, I'll give shout outs to those who listen to the podcast over in international waters. So Italy, I appreciate you for being here. Nigeria, I appreciate you for being here listening to the podcast. Morocco, I appreciate you for listening to the podcast. Everywhere in the U.S., everybody that is listening right now, I thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Today, we're talking about onward movement. So for me, onward movement is a very important thing. And there is a big difference between forward and onward. And I'm going to teach you the difference between the two. And I want you to take these words and take this message on with you to allow you to become a lot stronger for the rest of the week. So let's go ahead and jump into it. If you're watching, go ahead and put in the comment section where you're viewing from. If you're in the state of Texas, just put the city. If you're outside the state of Texas, put the city and state, because we're going to grow this thing. We're going to make it bigger and better for everyone. All right. So as you can see right now, I will move onward. I want you to say that. That is going to be your affirmation for today. I will move onward. So if that's your affirmation for today, I want you to put onward inside the chat. And those who are listening on podcasts or listening or watching on YouTube, put onward in the comment section, because that is where we're going to stay right now. We're going to put you in an onward position and watch as this grow throughout the lesson. Make sure I'm ready and prep. All right, onward. The definition of onward is a continuing forward direction or ahead. Onward is a continuing forward direction or ahead. If you're watching this right now, continue this live by sharing this live in a forward direction and ahead. See how that worked? I'm just saying. All right. Continue this live by sharing it in a continue forward direction or ahead. Now, I was learning. Let me switch this out. Put me on a bigger screen. All right. So as I began to break down the definition and go into the etymology, I've begun to see some of the things that I know that I could have done different. I know that I could have said when I should have said something. I know where I should have done something in the moment, in that time, that would have developed an onward approach. And I want you to see this too. And when you get to a point to where you're hear something that clicks for you, or in that aha moment, because remember yesterday when we were speaking, we were like, when you're in that aha moment, you either look up or you look down and be like, oh man, aha, I get it. But really, we want you to internalize that thought or internalize that onward direction, or that onward movement, I should say. When you internalize it, it's going to make it that much bigger and better. All right, we're going to switch it up. All right. Again, the definition for onward. The first definition onward we're going to use is a continuing forward direction or ahead. And the second one, this is the one that I love the most. It says the definition, and the definition number 2 is so as to make progress or become more successful. Especially for all my entrepreneurs out there, those who live in the realm of success, those who live in the realm of entrepreneurship, those who embody creating, those who are producers. This definition is definitely for you. If this definition is for you, definitely for those who are out there that are progressing, those who are successful, put onward again inside the chat, because as to make progress or become more successful. As to make progress to become more successful. Now, I want you to pay attention to the words that are highlighted, because the first one, it says so as to. So as to. So what does so as to mean? So as to means in order to. So in order for you to progress, in order for you to become more successful, you must develop that onward approach. Now, I'm just going by the definition. I am using the words that are already present, and I am putting it in a context just so we can learn when we want to be more successful, we have to develop a onward approach. If you want to be big inside of yourself, if you want to be great inside of yourself, if you want to do more for yourself, if you want to do more for your community, you must develop a onward approach, because as you can see, the definition says so as to make progress. So as to make progress. So in order for you to make progress, you must become successful by developing and taking that onward approach. You probably haven't looked at the word onward like this before. I'm just saying, you probably haven't looked at the word onward from a progressive standpoint. You haven't looked at the word onward from a successful standpoint, because the definition right here, the proof is to put in, the writing is on the wall. So as to make progress or become more successful, you have to take an onward approach, because again, in order to become successful, you have to look onward. But when you look onward, I still want you to have that inward approach and look inward. All right, the etymology of it, onward. So we're taking onward and we're dissecting onward. So the etymology of onward is Northern England dialect, often reduced to O, which means onto or aware. It is a Northern England dialect, often reduced to O, which means aware. Are you aware about the things and the steps that you're about to take? Are you consciously aware about where you want to go in your life? Because remember, so as to make progress or become more successful, you have to be aware. Now, again, we're just using the words. We're breaking the words up just so you can look at things from a different perspective. And I guarantee you, your affirmation of I will move onward will mean that much more to you. So again, the Northern England dialect is to be aware. And then when you go into the second portion of it, ward is adverbial suffix expressing direction. Old English, ward means toward or literally. So we're going to put those two words together. I want you to be aware on the movement that you're making, that you're about to make, literally. That means you're literally going to do these things. You're literally going to step out on faith. You are literally going to move in a direction that is progressive, not just saying I'm moving forward, but I am moving onward. I am moving onward with my goals. I'm moving onward with my gifts. I'm moving onward with my talents. I'm moving onward with the things that I know that I have inside of me, because you are greater than every problem that you have. You're greater than every situation that arises because you have the ability to move onward. You have the ability to move onward. And I'm going to tell you right now, literally. I'm just saying the definition. Literally. That's just onward. But I'm telling you, literally, you have the ability to move towards your goal and be using that onward progression. Literally. It's just in the definition. So this is my R2 saying. After this, I'm gonna give you 4 points on how to move onward. Never mistake going forward for onward movement. If you understand this, I guarantee you will look at what you do from a different perspective. You will look at what you do from a different light. Don't be taking this saying, this is something personal. So if you do take this saying, make sure you put R2 after it or you tag me in it, because this is so true and so honest. Never mistake going forward for onward movement, because there is a big difference between the two. So I'm going to paint this picture and paint this scenario for you. As you can see right now, you have that car. So let's take the engine out of the car. But the car is still in the same shape. But the engine is no longer in the car. It still has a transmission. It has the tires. It has the wheels. It had all of that stuff. So imagine you and 4 people inside of this car, and you jump out of the car. All 4 doors are opening, and you're pushing the car. Everybody is pushing the car. What direction is the car moving? The direction it's moving is forward. The car is going to move forward. Even if you push the car down the hill, the car is moving forward. It is progressing. But what if everybody jumped in the car because you felt like we're going forward, so we good? What eventually is going to happen to the car? That's a question. After you've jumped in the car and all of you have pushed, after the vehicle has stopped, the car is no longer moving in a forward direction. It has lost its momentum because going forward was mistaken for onward movement. Going forward was mistaken for onward movement. You're going to have to look deep within inside. You're going to have to pop your hood up and inspect your engine. So you're going to have to pop your hood up and inspect your thoughts. You're going to pop your hood and empower your gifts. You're going to have to empower your talents. You're going to have to empower your blessing. You're going to have to look past where you presently are, because literally you're going to have to utilize your onward movement and not mistake your onward movement for going forward. All right, that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about today. And if I want you to take this and take it with you for the rest of the day. Never mistake going forward for onward movement. How many of us have children out there, or you have friends that have mistaken that going forward as onward movement? You didn't go anywhere. That's like saying, I'm going to give you this plate of fish, but never teaching you how to fish. Giving you a plate of fish is going forward. I am feeding you in the moment, but onward movement is teaching you how to fish. Forward is I'm giving you $5 now, but then if I want to create a onward movement, I am going to teach you about wealth. Big difference. I can give you money now, but onward is teaching you how to maintain the money when you receive the wealth, to maintain the money when you receive the possibilities of having wealth. What legacy are you leaving? Are you leaving the legacy of going forward, or are you going to leave that onward legacy? That's power within itself. What onward legacy are you going to leave for your loved ones? What onward legacy are you going to leave for your children? What onward legacy are you leaving with your business? Onward legacy is life insurance, stuff like that. That is something that is onward, literally, for you and your family. Again, never mistake going forward or moving forward for onward movement. All right, so let's go into the 4 steps on how to move onward. So number 1 is it takes a level of commitment to move onward. It takes a level of commitment to move onward, because what you're going to do is you're going to be encountered by a lot of things. You're going to be encountered by people trying to push things on you and stuff like that. So it's going to take a level of commitment for you to move onward. And once you move onward, then you will understand that there are things that needs to take place, and you're going to make it bigger and better for you. Moving onward with accountability. You're going to have to be accountable for the things that you do, because in your moment of decision, you're going to have to say, I will be accountable for what I'm doing, because I want to make a change. I want to leave a legacy. So I'm accountable in my living to be onward in my legacy. I am accountable for what I'm thinking to be onward and literally moving in a direction that is onward. That's going to make it a lot bigger and better for you. All right, so that's number 2, moving onward with accountability. Moving onward with accountability. And the third thing is be willing to take on the calculated risk. Are you willing to take on the calculated risk of being onward, taking that onward approach, looking at things as it literally is before you take that next step forward? Number 3, be willing to take on the calculated risk. And the last one is my favorite one. Overcoming your fears of the first step. You're going to have to overcome the fear of that first step. Because remember, onward is being aware, literally being aware of going towards that goal. So I want you to not be afraid of taking the first step. Don't be afraid of taking that onward approach, and never mistake forward movement as you were. Never mistake the military as you were. Never mistake going forward for onward movement. Look at onward for yourself. Don't allow anyone to define what onward is for you. Don't allow anyone to set you back from your onward approach. Don't allow anyone to put you in a box that you know that you wasn't born in. So because you was not born or birthed inside of that box, you have the ability to stand up upright and move in a direction that is onward, to take that onward approach, to literally put yourself in that space. Be careful about the spaces that you find yourself in, because you have to be protective of your space if you're going to take that onward approach. And remember, consistency will always create currency, and never mistake your going forward for your onward movement. Peace.